We already have a new coach hired, although it's not yet official.
Not official.
But that was the conversation last year when that interesting, because they very rarely put out a press release in New England to announce pretty much anything about what they're doing. But remember that there was a like a 2-3 line statement that Bill O'Brien was hired as the new offensive coordinator, which is wild that somebody would be announced and then given a title for everyone to see and call. And Jerod Mayo wasn't taking interviews elsewhere.
Right.
He was being retained on staff. And everybody took that to mean, well, Bill had to bring somebody on to be the new offensive coordinator that the Crafts wanted to have on there to straighten out a regressing Mac Jones after Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, who'd never really coordinated an offense and been in charge of a quarterback before, was in charge of Mac Jones's regression season. And Bill O'Brien came on, and as we all know, Mac Jones fell off a cliff. Not to say that that's Bill O'Brien's fault, but he fell off a cliff. And everybody thought Jerod Mayo was sticking around because he was told, you're the next coach, which led everyone to believe in New England that when Belichick being on the hot seat, it was just Jerod Mayo's gig in waiting until Mike Vrabel became available. And sure enough, Tom Pelissero, along with Ian Rappaport from my NFL media group and others, reporting today, Jerod Mayo is going to be the next head coach of the New England Patriots. Bob Kraft, when he left the podium yesterday, said we're going to move quickly. It's pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
And which means it may have been in his contract that this was happening because they didn't have to go through any other hiring processes. It's in his contract. You're the next coach. I saw him in Germany, and he was strolling around, and you know, I didn't get the sense that he knew he was going to be the next coach of the New England Patriots, for sure. And if this has been the case, well, what an interesting dynamic, because Bill must have known what was in that contract, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we're paging Tom Curran to the horn later on today. But this is just this is a guy who was drafted by the Patriots, played only for the Patriots, joined the coaching staff of the Patriots, has been only on the coaching staff of the Patriots, and now he's the one that is going to be putting on the headset after the hoodie, the guy after the guy. And your guess is as good as mine as to what the heck that's going to look like. And that's one of the fascinating aspects of everything going on in New England is what will the post-Belichick Patriots look like? And I don't mean like wins, losses. I'm talking about organizationally. There's been one way that it has been done for 24 years, and it was Bill Belichick's way.
Yep.
End of story. And as it progressed, it being, you know, all the winning and banner raising and duck boat parading and denting of Lombardi trophies with baseballs at Fenway Park.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, all of that, it only got more of Belichick's way. You even heard Bob Kraft say at the podium yesterday, AKK saying, hey, listen, it wasn't even an option to tell Bill you're going to have less control over the roster and in the draft room, and someone else will be picking the picks, and you will be picking some picks, and somebody else will be picking some picks. And that's just not the way that they have done business. And Bill had earned the right of having that control. He was saying that just didn't sound workable, that you stay the coach and we'll get more of a collaborative effort on the roster building and roster control. Wasn't an option for Kraft, and I'm sure it wasn't for Belichick. So how will it look organizationally? How will it look just spirit-wise? You know, I have no idea how this is going to look. How's it going to look media-wise? You know? Will a coach actually say if a player's injured or not? Will there be fewer questionable players on the injury report? You know, I mean,
I don't know.
Right? Will more assistants talk?
I'm wondering what the press conferences are going to sound
like.
You
know what I mean? Like, what will this entire building look like? Because the other way around, in anybody that's taken over from the Belichick system elsewhere has been quite, what's the word for it, I guess? Sea change, awakening, however you want to put it. Everything you hear in Las Vegas, it's like Josh McDaniels came in and it was the Patriot way, the McDaniels way, soup to nuts. And it took some doing in the building for people to get used to it and understand it and maybe have their roles changed because their roles aren't as collaborative under that system. And it worked for Bill. God, did it work for Bill. And others, it doesn't. If Mayo is just like Bill, you know what? Everyone understands it. That's just the way it is. If it's different, that might be kind of a sea change. Don't know. What is it going to look like, and how does that affect wins and losses? And what does it look like on the field? Bringing in a total, like, hot, young, new coordinator, maybe, to bring in all of the new offensive concepts that I guess others didn't. I don't know. You're into that idea.
I'd be in favor of that.
I can't wait to see how it all builds.
So,
and then, of course, I can't wait to see where Bill goes next. My gosh. Will that be something? In terms of that organization having a sea change when he walks in the building, and then fans just having a sea change, seeing him in another sideline, another uniform logo on his hoodie.
We're also using words like when. Maybe a team doesn't want Bill.
I don't know. Maybe a team doesn't want any of these guys that are out there.
Pete Carroll.
Like Pete Carroll.
Yeah, exactly. We're just assuming
and
that
one last thing.
They're going to get looks in interviews. Maybe not.
One last thing before we get to Pelissero here. As you know, I'm looking at every single coaching hire and fire through the lens of how does that affect Jim Harbaugh? Honestly, everything.
Totally.
So if Vrabel doesn't wind up in New England and he winds up in, say, the Chargers or Vegas,
right?
That's one fewer spot that Jim might leave for.
Totally.
So I'm like, way to go, Jerod Mayo. You take that spot that I thought Vrabel was going to wind up in.
Funny.
Even though he was, it seems, contractually obligated to it. And I don't know. Maybe we're one step closer to the maize and blue skinny M hat still being on Jim's head. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.